Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is the Angels in Politics broadcast. Of course, you should know that by now. I am your host, the creative and artistic manifestation of Angels in Politics, the white collar goon. I am in my goon attire and political attire, and I just want to present you with a very short message this evening. Hopefully, we can have this conversation. Well, it's not even evening right now; it's the afternoon. But we can have this conversation, and you can just take this with a grain of salt. First and foremost, have you had your meal? Have you eaten today? Okay, so you're like me. I haven't broken my fast either. Um, don't do it just yet. Don't do it just yet. Feed off these words. Feed off the spiritual food. Feed off of the fruits of your labor. Fruits of your labor. Yeah, and then you can go into having a very healthy lunch or dinner. Um, I was going into my personality archetype last night, and I was listening to a video about some of my traits or characteristics or people who have my personality archetype. And before, we know of ENFPs being extroverted, intuitive, feeling, perceiving individuals. And that's, understood, meaning highly sociable people, people who thrive in social environments, people who love to learn about people, individuals who are highly inquisitive as it pertains to learning new things and particularly about people. Like, we're just what they call people persons. And we thrive in those in the relationship dynamic, and I don't know, it really spoke to me very, very, very much so. But they had a different way to describe it at this personality hacker website. They called ENFPs explorations, or the E, instead of extroverted, they call it explorer. So exploration, authenticity, or exploration, uh, authenticated, authenticated. And I like that because when something is authentic, that means it's genuine, all right? Or that means it's real, like, the opposite of being contrived. And for people who are, I guess, like me, like, we can spot it a mile away. We can sense it. We can feel it. It's instinctual. It's intuitive. It's in our bones whenever people are trying to not run game, but I guess when people are trying to be something that they're not, when people are trying to project something that's not them, when people are being disingenuous, when a situation is not right, whenever you see politicians or just any individual who normally can pull a wool over your eye based on the things that they say or the way that they look or the glitz and the glamour around. Like the average person can be swayed or be wooed or be amazed or in awe by certain things. And for our personality archetype, we can sniff that out almost as if we're like a bloodhound. It's like, we know you're full of shit, or not even, or maybe it's like we know that it's the opposite. Maybe you're not full of shit. Maybe you are somebody who's of incredible power, somebody who's somebody who has an exponentially high, aptitude for XYZ, somebody who's very smart, very competent, very intelligent, and they might play themselves off to be not as smart as they seem. There are some people who try to like shield their abilities and their strengths and their power and I will call it their spiritual gifts for a number of reasons. But this kind of explains how, as much as I am a people person, there are certain people who I will like definitely keep my distance from, and not because I'm fearful of them. It's because I know, like, you're not the type of person that I'm like interested in knowing, because I can see that you have your own things going on, and your own thing is like you're lacking your self identity. You're lacking a self identity. You're lacking figuring you're missing who you are. And it's one thing to not know who you are and you're trying to figure it out, because that's my gift. That's what I'm here for. That's political counsel, that's political creative, that's political capital, that's political connections, that's political collections. Like all of the PC, anything that you see within the political circle that deals with self-realization, self-actualization, dreams, manifestation, alignment, spiritual alignment, anything that deals with your investment of yourself to be the archetypal superhero, the archetypal optimal version of yourself. That's my thing to my core. But whenever I find people who are presenting themselves as a hero, but really you are a hero in disguise, motherfucker, I can see you before you have even attempted to be seen. I can hear you before you've even opened your mouth. I can feel, you know what I'm saying? I can feel the falsehood. I can feel the lies. I can feel all of that. And that's something about, I guess, our DNA, our makeup, you know? So it's like we know who's who and what's what. And not to say like, you know, like that's something that like I'm not saying that's something that is I'm 100% on, or like I can never make a mistake on. But for the most part, we have a good indicator, or yeah, we have a pretty good indicator of reading people, body language, reading the non-verbal cues, the subtleties, the nuances, the inflections, the small details. I'm not really into, you know, the finite details as it pertains to, I don't know, classwork and planning and organizational, you know, things. I pretty much I'm not the strongest in practical skills. That's what they call it. Practical skills. You know, crossing T's and dotting I's and shit like that. But as far as people, oh, like I can go through a person's personality with a fine-tooth comb and I can see inconsistencies. So, as it goes back to the exploration authenticity, or the exploration authenticated, people of my personality type have to go out and continually test things, test ideas, test or challenge theories, challenge ideas, challenge the status quo or the status quo. And that is a part of my Enneagram Type 8. I am a challenger, campaigner, champion, maverick, but at the same time, like I'm not challenging you because you say you like ice cream or something. I'm not challenging you because you say you like the color blue. Like that's not really my challenge. My challenge is, what is it that you want to do with your life? What is your spiritual gift? What are your spiritual gifts, plural, and have you aligned them or synchronized them with your meaningful work and with meaningful relationships? And life is about relationships. Life is about meaningful relationships, establishing them, cultivating them, and sustaining them and building them. Do you hear me? So it's like whenever you find out what a person's purpose is, and it's like boom, so you're in alignment. But in order for me to like even get to that point, in order for me to even have come to that realization, my self-realization, my self-actualization, I'm not fully self-actualized at this moment. I am on I'm still in the earlier phases of my process, but I know that this is a path for me. I had to go out and get out of my comfort zone. I had to go out and put my face, put my body, put my whole, I talk about, your body, you're a business, you're a conglomerate, you're a company. That's who you are as a person. You're an entity. I had to transport my entity, my vessel, and put myself in these foreign environments, in these hectic and, some people will say like, dangerous dangerous environments. Not dangerous like, oh my gosh, like I'm dodging bullets type of thing, but like dangerous like, yo, Gabe, you don't know anybody there. You don't know what you're gonna do. You don't have a job in these places, and you're going across the world, or you're going into like war torn areas, or you're going into underprivileged or disenfranchised areas, or you're going into third world countries, or you're going into literally, like, you're going to places where there's like a military coup that's overtaken the government, and you're like walking around the streets and you're a black person. You should be scared. You should be afraid. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even be there. Like there's like I needed to do these things to figure out like who am I as a person, and who I am as a person is a constant. Like, I mean, mean, radically to the point, like a curious, inquisitive person that needs to be this way to explore, because that sparks the creativity, that sparks the ingenuity, that sparks the incentive. I mean, that incentivizes me to be, I guess, the authentication. Like that's how I can know what, like, what's real and what's fake. That's how I can, assess people. If I'm a people person, if I do political counsel, then like I needed to put myself in environments to meet people who were unlike me, on the opposite end of the spectrum. So like, yeah, like I've been in, predominantly Muslim speaking countries. I've been in Buddhist countries. I've lived in Buddhist countries. I've been in communist countries. I've lived in agnostic countries where people aren't religious at all. I've lived with atheists. I've lived with Christians. I live with people who don't give a shit, like about what side you live, you what side of the spectrum you're on. Like, I mean, it's been everything, and I will continue to put myself in environments whereby there are people from all over the world, or I'm dealing with people from all over the world, because this is exploration for me. This is how I learn. This is like what I need to do, and this is how I write stories. This is how I create vignettes. This is how I am into the yoga. This is how I intertwine and synchronize the meditation and the breathing and the prayer and the yoga with my creative proclivities, I guess. So that's the authentication part. Like, I have to put myself out there to know what's true, know what's real, know what's genuine. And I found, through me being in some of the countries in the Middle East, whatever that middle is, and whatever east of whatever that is, but Eastern Asia, Southeastern Asia, Europe, Western Europe, North America, South America, Central America. I've been to a few of these places, and I've learned that there are similarities. There's a continuity. There's more in common with the universe and the universal person than what you would come to realize. You might think somebody who looks different than you, who speaks differently than you, who has a different skin color, different religion, who eats differently than you. So we eat with forks and spoons and knives, and they might eat with their hands, or they might eat with chopsticks. But at the end of the day, family is the same. Education, or the importance of education, the importance of enterprise, the importance of economics, the importance of beauty and aesthetics and attractiveness is important in every sense of the word, anywhere in the world. Like, all of these things have a cohesive and universal order, and you start to find that there is an alignment, and there is a system of synthesis, a system of synchronicity, a system of sequence. And once you start to put yourself in the system and build your own system, it's like, brother, man, like, I know you have goals. Like, sister, I know you have goals. I know you have dreams, but you don't need to just focus on your dreams. You don't need to just focus on your goals. You need a system in place. You need systems. All right. So God bless the explorers. God bless the people who are curious, hyper inquisitive. God bless the people who may not be that way, but like, what is political connections about? You are the sum of all of your experiences. So that means you are the books that you read and the people you associate yourself with. What are you reading right now? If somebody says, I'm not reading much, then go out there and start small, but pick up something, read something new. Somebody says, yo, I'm who I hang out with, I'm who I associate myself with. Who are your friends? Are they dope? Are they incredible? Are they outstanding? Are they amazing? Are they like hyper intelligent, competent, industrious, intuitive? Like, have they practiced self-mastery? Are they virtuous? Are they, like, are they encouraging? Are they courageous? Are they hardworking? Are they diligent? Do they dedicate themselves to the spiritual markets? Like, if not, this is okay, but make some new friends. Make some more friends. Not to say forget them, but maybe make some more friends. Not maybe, like, you should make more friends. Like, that type of thing. You should make more connections. Life is about connections. Maybe political connections. You are 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees of separation from anything that you fucking want in this world. Do you hear me? So that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm so glad that I can, like, have this conversation with you. And please, like, if something is, like, on your heart, like, reach out to me. Reach out to, well, before you reach out to me, go inside yourself. Meditate on that. They're before you come and approach anybody on the outward level, go inward. And it's dark in there. Oh my gosh, it's fuck it, it's dark in there. There's a lot that you have to sort yourself out. There's a lot to sort out within yourself, but take your time. It won't happen overnight. It won't happen tonight. It won't happen tomorrow. But you need systems. God bless. Color Goon. Color Goon. White. Color Goon.